knocking on my door this time of night?
Me want snoo.
Oh, hell no.
You're more beautiful man. Me want snoo.
Oh. Oh. Frank? Why is there a very large and very, shall we say, affectionate cave woman outside?
She's here for a date. Humans need to procreate, do they not?
I didn't ask you to make a dating profile. Uptricks. I need protocol number 8, please.
Combat protocols can only be used in case of emergency.
This is an emergency.
This situation does not call for measures of violence.
Oh, well, I beg to differ. I think this does call for violence. Hey, no chuckling from the peanut gallery. All right? Robot head wants to fight that breaker. It's very strong, okay? I can feel that door starting to crack. Can you at least do Protocol 7 and reinforce the door?
Protocol 7 activated, reinforcing.
Thank you. Frank, if you want to make a dating profile, make one for you, not me.
Fine.
You dick. Oh. Arrow, out. Oh, this thing can transform not only me into things, but I can turn you, even a ghost, into things. Out.
I shall make her leave the premises.
Yeah, that's right. You are gonna make her go away, Frank. And yes, for the record, I did name the robot head Frank.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero, Ben 10,000 Wagio. So, today's video is gonna be on the new War Rock deck. And, you know, if I hopefully can survive getting to the deck profile without Frank trying to set up a dirty profile. We're going to be going over the War Rock deck. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on the end stuff when we get to the deck profile. But as per usual, let's get into that replay footage. And while y'all are watching that, I'm going to be looking for a hammer. So maybe I can knock some sense into my robot-headed friend over there. Alright, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed the replay footage. Now, real quick, we're going to go over all of the new War Rock cards, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on them. So, let's go over them real quick. First of all, we kind of have the boss monster slash kind of hand trap slash graveyard trap, if you will. War Rock Bachelios. During the battle phase, when an Earth Warrior monster battles, quick effect, you can activate this effect, and this card can attack directly this turn. Also, all War Rock monsters you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. So basically, in order to get the attack directly, you have to get another Earth Warrior to battle a monster. And win or lose, it doesn't matter. But as soon as that's done, he can hit directly. While this card is in the hand of the graveyard, when an Earth Warrior monster is destroyed by battle, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, which that didn't need to be there, but whatever. You can only use one War Rock monster once per turn. Okay, so he's like the boss monster. He's the direct attacker. They all have something very similar, like an activation effect based off of Earth Warrior battling. That is that they all have something like that, and it's all gain 200. I think the only one that doesn't is Gyarados. Yeah, Gyarados doesn't. Yeah, the rest of them all do a boost by 200 effect, except for Gyarados. But Gyarados is an extender, so no, that's shocking. All right, so then we have Warrock Skylar. You know, the one that Frank tries to set me up on a date with. Dickish robot. Anyway. This one gains 100 attack for each monster your opponent controls. And then if an Earth Warrior monster battles, it can target a level 5 or lower warrior monster, not just a War Rock monster, and special summon it. And then all War Rock monsters gain 200 attack. But if you do that, for the rest of the turn, you cannot attack directly with level 5 or lower monsters. So all your normal summonable monsters, if she brings one back, you're not able to attack directly with them. Then you have Warrock Orpus, who is basically the level 5 guy, but if you don't control any monsters at all, or all you have are warrior monsters, you can normal summon him without tributing. And, and basically what he is he is a battle phase Armageddon Knight with a 200 bonus. After battling, or after a warrior battles, I should say. Warrock Gyarados. This is the guy that's going to see the most play. If you normal summon a warrior, or an Earth Warrior monster, I think. Yeah, an Earth Warrior, you summon him for free. But this is an activated effect, especially on Edo Pro, so, be wary of that. It can be negated by, things that negate monster effects. I find that annoying and unnecessary, but, since when is Konami going to listen to reason here? If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, special summon a level 5 or higher War Rock monster from your hand or deck. So if they, they Regeki it, Lightning Storm it, Torrential Tribute, these cards that are seeing a lot of play right now, or say it was destroyed by Dragoon's effect, you could, assuming it didn't get negated, you could summon a bigger War Rock monster. And then I believe Warrock Forte has that ability as well. Yeah, he has the same effect, but he also has the ability, if an Earth Warrior monster does damage, he makes all the Warrock monsters go up by 200, and then what he will do is he will search you a Warrock monster, and you get to add it from your hand to the deck, is essentially what he'll do. So, then we got Ash Blossom. Excuse me, guys. You got Ash Blossom because you kind of, hand traps are necessary, unfortunately. Harpy's Feather Duster, get rid of the back row. This is a battle-centric deck, so you really need to get rid of that back row. Then we got Reinforcements of the Army. I went for Pot of Extravagance. You don't have to play this card if you don't want to. I know that the extra deck is a little bit of a mishmash of things, but I went for just pure warriors, and I never really used the extra deck in the first place. Dark Ruler no more, so we can actually break boards. Warrock is very much going to be a if you're going to play it, the best route that I have seen is not only from my own experience, but from what other people who are already playing the deck are saying. Warrock is very much a board breaking deck. That's so you're going to want to play this card if they, and you know, you might even want to consider playing this plus Forbidden Droplets. I don't know. It's just, you know, just a thought there. Terraforming to get to your field spell. Called by the Grave because fuck hand traps. The A forces. I saw a person online. I can't remember who it was, to be honest with you, who was playing this in theirs, and I decided to test it out, and it works out pretty well, good, because, you know, if you have, like, you know, an Orpus and a Gactos, and then, like, you go to the battle phase, you can get another War Rock on the monster for free, and that's a lot of, like, they can all get really big really quickly. Then you got War Rock Ordeal, which is basically the in-archetype draw spell. Basically, what this thing does is a War Rock monster destroys a monster in battle. You get to draw a card, and it's not once per turn. So you could potentially draw like 3 cards in a turn if you resolve the spell. But after 3 times, it goes away because it gets a War Rock counter, and that's how it does it. So, and you can only have 1 on the field at a time. So, something to keep in mind. Moon Mirror Shield was just to make sure that my War Rock monsters could beat over other monsters, because, you know, even in the game, there are still monsters bigger than them. And then we got the Field Spell, which is really clever for a field spell. War Rock Mountain. Basically, it's going to let you add a War Rock monster from the deck to the hand, so it's basically Rhoda. On top of that, in the battle phase, at the beginning of the battle phase, you can just special summon a War Rock monster if you don't control any monsters, or all the monsters you have are warriors. So you get another free, it's an extender. And then if a War Rock monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send the mountain to the graveyard instead. And then, of course, we got the Metaverse, because to get to the mountain is a key factor here. Now, you can ignore the extra deck entirely. I just threw a bunch of random warriors in there to try to, like, you know, if I had to go for an extra deck, but it never really came up, to be honest. Now I'm going to give you guys my assessment of the War Rock deck. I don't think this is going to be a competitively viable deck because it's very battle phase oriented, and that's where its weakness lies. This was a very unique deck, and I think Konami was really onto something, having a very battle phase oriented deck. You know how dinosaurs are like very like main phase oriented, like they're like, you know what I mean, like battle phase is their weak spot. This is like battle phases. The War Rocks are very much like the flip to dinosaurs in that aspect, where, you know, when you go to the battle phase, that's where the dinosaurs are decks are usually at their weakest. You know, that's where you can get them with things like, you know, like mirror forces, like battle traps, and like, you know, evenly matched and things like that. That's where Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is vulnerable because Mist expires in the battle phase, etc. The War Rock deck was a very interesting idea, and I think it's something that Konami really should expand on. I think a lot of the cards here have just unnecessary drawbacks for the deck, and you can tell that Konami doesn't really plan on you playing a War Rock deck. Like, if you go to an event, they're not expecting you to actually play this. What they're probably expecting us to do as players is just do what Team Sam mentioned, is play Gactos, War Rock Mountain, because Gactos here is just a free special summon for any warrior based deck. And on top of that, like if we go to, let's see, what was it, Papa Operative or whatever. All right, like I was just trying to say, basically it comes down to the Blue Mountain Butter Spy. A lot of warrior based decks are using this card as its extender, because it's just like, oh, you normal summoned a warrior monster, special summon me for free. Basically, Gactos would be, War Rock Gactos will end up ironically being probably the replacement for this card, because Gactos is also an Earth attribute warrior, and he doesn't have the same restrictions as Butterspry. Whereas Butterspry can only be used for Xyz and Links and Fusions, Gactos can be used for all of the extra deck-based monsters. So I dare say that that's what Gactos will be used for. It's the only monster that's in the archetype that's going to see any level of competitive play. I think Konami also, like, having a battle phase oriented archetype was a really clever and unique idea. And I think where Konami messed up with this archetype, I was gonna make a whole separate video talking about why I think this archetype should be better than it is. but I think I'm just going to go ahead and toss it in here. Just, you know, make it easy for you guys. The point of it is, like, the War Rock Ordeal and the War Rock Mountain, like, these two cards should have had, like, a protection style effect to keep these guys alive to the battle phase. Like, for example, War Rock Mountain, in my opinion, should have made it to where, like, oh yeah, War Rock monsters are unaffected by my opponent's monster effects during the, you know, until the battle phase or whatever. You know what I mean? Because then the monsters would get their abilities in the battle phase, but they lose their protection, you know, that kind of thing. Like, that's what this deck is really, the archetype is missing, ultimately, is a way to say, no, I'm going to play the game until I get to the battle phase. Or they needed a way to be like, you know, the archetype needed something where it's like, oh yeah, I special summon all my dudes in the battle phase or something. You know, they needed something to get to the battle phase so they can actually play the game. And the truth is, in modern, like, this archetype would have been great in the early days of, like, when they started archetypes. This archetype would have been a fair and really fun archetype, and, well, not fair, it would have been a tough cookie, but it's very GX kind of vibe to it. That's its era. It's not, you know what I mean? It's where it's way past its. Yu-Gi-Oh has evolved past this deck already, which is ironic because all of these guys also look like cavemen warriors, if you ask me. That's kind of what they remind me of. Like, if I was to picture what a caveman who figured out how to be a warrior created, like, this is literally what I picture. A bunch of, like, rock weapons and like leather and like skin, pelted clothes, that kind of thing, animal skin pelts. Like, that's literally pretty much what I picture. Like, look at their weapons. They kind of all have, like, in the art, their weapons all look like they're made out of stone more than they look like they're made out of metal. So, like, I think War Rock Ordeal here was a really good card, but I think that the thing it was missing is it should have added a layer of protection to the War Rock monsters on top of drawing them. I know that you guys are thinking, well, hold on, it could draw them potentially 3 cards. Yes, it could, but, you know, the idea here is, like, if it could, you know, if this had some level of, like, oh yeah, your War Rock monsters can't be destroyed by card effects or whatever. You know, I said destroyed. Like, you still could banish, you still could do other things. But that, you know, these guys are, I don't know. They need some level of protection that doesn't take away from their ability to play the game, but also lets them get to the battle phase. And if you don't draw Dark Ruler no more, you know, plus like something like Harpy's Feather Duster or Twin Twister or something, or Lightning Storm, you know, whatever's going to get rid of the back row so that you can actually play the game, you're not going to be able to play the game with playing a pure War Rock deck. As you guys saw in the replays, a lot of the games I won were because that my opponent bricked, or Edo Pro made them misclick or something. You know, I mean, Edo Pro is, you know, just doesn't have the good shuffling system anyway. But that's neither here nor there. The point of it is to say that the War Rock monsters are fun, but War Rock Gactos is the only monster that's going to see any play. And then, of course, you'll probably see War Rock Mountain, but it'll be just used as a rota to get to him. So, I give, like, if I had to give the archetype a number rating, it's a 2 out of 10. It's 2 out of 10 for playability. I'd say, you know, 6 out of 10 for style. And 8 out of 10 for uniqueness, which I appreciate the uniqueness. It's just you're gonna have to mix the War Rocks with something else if this is gonna have any level of playability. You're gonna have to mix it with something else, and I don't mean, but that's, you know what I mean. Like, you're gonna have to find a secondary engine for the War Rock deck if you wanna play them as a deck themselves. But that's my 2 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're interested in the archetype, you know, it's coming out soon. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.